Okay, 23 Sierra 1, we're back. We're going to mount the Sig Sauer Tango MSR LPVO to this CMMG AR-10. Alright, we're going to be doing this here on my unfinished desk. I've been working on this thing for, I don't know, a couple years. Much to my wife's dismay. She freaking hates me right now for this thing. But it's really hot in the garage, and I don't want to go in there and do carpentry right now. Alright, so, as always, before working on any firearms, and make sure it's clear. Unloaded. Which it is. We've got our cantilever mount that was included with the LPVO. Torque screws in the top there on the rings. We'll get those off. So we're going to have to set our eye relief when we put this guy on the rail here to figure out where we want this. Prior, I had nope, there's the little guy. Did you finish your sandwich? Let me see. Prior, I had a 2.5 to 10 power Night Force on that with a offset Delta Point Pro. So we're going to see if this LPVO can act as a makeshift dot on 1 power and get the job done with just the one optic, which will free me to use that Delta Point on something else, and maybe even the Night Force. Almost done here. Getting these screws out of the rings. Whoop. Drop that bitch. So as we noticed before, the torque specs were printed onto the rings and the base. I do have torque limiters for working on my guns, particularly optics, mounting red dots or mounting optics. Don't want to over tighten the screws. Getting one of those scope rings off, looks like the base has a little bit of damage, so not super pleased about that. So if you can see right there, that one looks like they had some issues when they initially put that screw in, and it kind of widened up the top of that hole. Good job, buddy. I'll get you going bears in a minute, okay?
Oh, that's so nice to me.
So, not too pleased with that. So we're going to go ahead and try to mount this right around there first. Go upstairs. We'll hand tighten these. Just kind of set that in there. That should give me plenty of room to set eye relief. Might have to move it up forward a little bit. We'll see. And then that line on the body of the tube is supposed to help level this. And I think if we set it right around there, at the top of the bottom ring, that should be level, but we're going to confirm that with the bubble. And similar to putting lug nuts onto a car wheel, I like to tighten these in a X kind of shape. Try to get the same amount of gap between the top ring and the bottom ring on both sides. And then before we tighten everything down, we're going to check the eye relief, see if we need to move that thing. Setting eye relief, you're going to want to have that so that when you're looking through the optic, you're behind the rifle, you don't have any scope shadow in a natural position, which is to say you don't have to crane your neck forward or your head up or down. Prolonged times behind the rifle in that kind of position where you have to compensate will get tired. So that's actually not bad right there. Got no scope shadow, and I don't have to just take your head off a couple of times, drop it back down, and right back on without having to adjust. So let's get the bubble. So we'll put the bubble level here on the rail. Level. Set that on top of the turret. Not quite. Not, still within the two lines, but it's a little over for my taste. Let's rotate that a little bit and reconfirm with the rails. That's a lot better. Alright, so then we'll tighten it down there.
Yes, me.
Go upstairs. Alright. So those rings are supposed to be 25 inch-pounds. Got the torque limiter there. Will only allow me to put up to 25 inch-pounds of pressure. Before it clicks and will not go any further. Alright, checking both sides here. That's tight down. Trying to get the same amount of gap. Give that a click. 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 There we go. Set the rear ring. Alright, so the rings are set. Get the 65 inch-pound limiter. You get a read on that. There we go. It's mounted. Alright. So, now that she's mounted, get a look through here. And it actually looks like a pretty true 1X. I'm not getting looking behind it, putting it up. Let's hit the illuminator, the illuminated optic there, reticle. So I feel like definitely nothing like a EOTech or other holographic weapon sight. Just feels like there's a lot of stuff right here for any kind of room clearing using it as a 1X. I don't know about that. In a pinch, I suppose you could, but probably not my preference, unless gotta get some time behind it and give it a go. So, but mounted up pretty easily. That little level line actually pretty in line with the scope ring, so not a bad tool, not a little bad feature. Next step, take her to the range, see how she shoots. Real important thing is it's holding 0 and working like it should. I shouldn't have a problem with this thing. I'm not trekking through the mountains of Afghanistan or anything like that, subjecting this thing to anything crazy. So, I'm sure it will do what I need it to do at a much lower price. See you on the range.